Good day and welcome everyone. It is John the Net Guy. We have show number 418, season 4, I guess episode 18 if we're doing this in that order. Today is all about smart home tech, things that you can use around your house. Maybe you can use them in your car. I know I can use a lot of these things. 3 of the products today have been provided by sponsors. I'll let you know who those are, and they are one way that I'm able to bring you such cool stuff from Amazon. The other option is things that I picked up that I needed or I found useful. So I wanted to share those items with you as well. First up on today's show is actually an add-on product that's going to go with a monitor I showed you on Prime Days. I've got a couple other products that on Prime Days didn't quite demo well. And so again, I wanted to bring them back here, work the kinks out of them because sometimes that happens with technology. But as we always do in the show, I'm going to do a quick audio check here, make sure I got no buzz, hum, or anything going on. And Jonathan beats everybody again. Thanks, Jonathan, for checking in. He says, hey, how are you? I'm doing good. I've had an interesting couple weeks here. I might tell you the story about that as we get going here. I see Green's checking in. I see Green has a little, is that a smiley face with the eyes up there, the eyebrows? Okay, very cool emoji. I appreciate that. And BC is checking in and says, sounds good to me. We like that. We'll get going. So without further ado, I do need to make the Amazon appear. So this is a completely live show. I am live on Amazon, Facebook, X, not Twitter anymore, I guess, as well as YouTube. So thank you for joining today. So let me get the Amazon going and we will get started. And if you're interested in any of the products that we have today, there's a URL that's going along at the bottom. That's my Amazon page. So if you go to my Amazon shop, in full disclosure, I get a very small commission. I'm going to hit the go on the Amazon because it looks like it's working. So here we go. We're live on Amazon. Welcome, Amazonians that are checking in here. But as I was saying, I get a very small single-digit commission off the things that you purchase, and that helps me buy camera gear, lights, maybe some of the other products that they didn't send from sponsors. And then there are show sponsors that do send out products. I'll be clear about which ones those are. Their sponsorship does not change my impression of their product, and I have sent products back before, or I've shown products and told you what I think about them. So without further ado, we're going to get going today. The first product that we have is actually from a company. I've showed you guys their products several years ago. No, not their shipping label here, but this is from the Wanwo company. This is a gas strut monitor arm. Now, where would you use a gas strut monitor arm? Back on Prime Days, and I'm going to pull the cords off of it here so I'm not dragging stuff around. I showed you this 21:9 aspect ratio, 30-inch high-speed ultra-wide monitor. The only thing I told you was that the stand left a lot to be desired. That's the only adjustment it has is up and down. But the cool thing about it is on the back, it has Visa mounting capability through these holes. So if you Visa mount this monitor onto a gas strut monitor arm, you're in great shape and you can now adjust it up and down and sideways, whichever direction you want. So we're going to do that. I'm going to mark it on the Amazon cart here so you can see that. If you don't have a gas strut monitor arm, I'm going to show you everything about them today. I'm going to say hi to our Amazonians. This product is available right now on Amazon. Let me check quickly. Pre-show, it was $27.19 after an additional 15%. So it's 32% off. Under $30 for a gas strut monitor arm is a pretty good deal. Amazonians. I'm just saying hello to our guys here as I mark it in the chat. And I'll bring up the page for this, but we're going to go ahead and do a quick unbox. I'm going to bring you guys in on the top camera if I still remember what I'm doing. It's been a little while. Had a couple sleeps, as they say, since then, but they're not that hard to put together. A couple basic ingredients here, and if I have the right screws, everything's going to go real well. So there's their basic instructions here. A couple different components. They all install pretty similarly. Now, there's 2 kinds of installation here. If you take a look at this, there is the grommet insulation, which they call it here, which is if you're going to drill a hole, and it's not a very big hole. You're talking, more like, I think, a 7/16 hole, less than ½ inch, and you can put that grommet through, maybe even less. Or if you have an option to maybe use a C-clamp, you don't want to adjust your table to match, you can just C-clamp around it. Some desks, you can't get behind them against a wall, so you might use the grommet installation. If you have 2 monitors, pick up 2 of these. They even make dual ones that have dual arms, which are pretty cool. And Jonathan's checking in and says, I have one that holds my 2 monitors that cost me almost $30. Right on. And Green's checking in, says, I'm slightly sad I didn't get a monitor this year, but I got some great charge accessories. Yeah, I saw some of that stuff you picked up. Pretty slick stuff. So that's the 2 ways that it installs. Let's pull out all of the pieces so you can kind of see what's going on here. I like this style because it makes it really easy to install when you have this separate plate. So some don't have that. So there's the base, it looks like here. So that's a stud. There's going to be a cord protector and holder. There's going to be your adjustment tools. Looks like here we've got the screw kit for how we're going to attach the monitor. I'm guessing the MA screws are going to be the ones that we need. And so that's nice that it included those, because a lot of times people will lose the ones that come with their monitor, and so you're going to be stuck. So this is a cool thing to do. We're going to get the rest of them out here. I tell you, I have so many of these. So here we go. This is the base for the unit here, and this is the C-clamp. So we're going to follow the instructions. We got one more piece in the box, and that is the, looks like the lower side of the arm. So that's going to connect something like so, and then the upper part will connect to that. So really easy to put together. You can do this in just a few minutes. We're going to do it live. And honestly, I have not installed this one in over a year or so. So there we go. Jonathan says C-clamp for me. So he's definitely a C-clamp kind of person here. So I'm just taking a quick look to make sure I'm not steering you guys wrong. Let's take a look at those instructions together. So there's the C-clamp for mounting that swivel that I talked about. Now, you will have to adjust these based on the weight of your monitors. The great news about these monitors, especially the ones from Scepter, super light monitors, very easy to mount. This one has such a low mounting point on it, and let me show you what that means. This one has such a low VESA mounting point that when we adjust it, I won't doubt that we'll get the monitor up to this high, and we can tilt it and move it around, do some really neat things. So it says we're going to need a drill. 7/16 drill bit is optional, all the way up to 7/8, depending on how big of a hole we really want to make. And then they're telling us a couple different options here for how we can do the installation here. So one installation is if we're going to do the clamp mount here. So first thing they're telling us to do is to take this piece and flip it over. And then it has a couple tapered screws, which looks like they're in here in this bag. Now, if you were going to do the grommet mount, you would use this bar instead of the clamp. But because we're going to use the clamp mount, we're going to use this captive one. So we're going to save that. We're going to take this item here. I'm just looking at it real quick. And it looks like this has to connect here with those tapered screws. Now, if you don't have a drill and you don't have all the other stuff, they should include everything you need. I'm actually going to use a different camera just to show you this a little bit closer, because the top down sometimes doesn't show this so well. Well, here we go. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm putting the bottom of the C-clamp down, and I'm going to add this screw that they gave me. Try to do this holding it up. It's hard enough to do when you have this, but there you go. So I've tightened that side of it. I'm going to tighten the other side. So you can see that right there. And we're going to basically put together our own gas strap monitor arm here. Again, this is from Wanwo. It's available for less than $30 right now, and I'd highly recommend something like this. I'm just taking a look at the instructions. So for them, they want me to unscrew the plate that's here. When it comes from the factory here, it's going to be upside down. So unscrew that plate. We're going to run this unit through, just so it gives us that padding to attach to the desk. So I'm going to run it through that top hole. And I believe this is, they've simplified this so much from years past. This is all we're really going to have to do. So we're going to just rotate it however you want to get that clamp. Now, I know I don't need a lot of room. I'm going to take this and I'm going to reattach it here. And then I'm going to tighten this screw. Now, it's going to be a little hard to get to that screw, but we're going to be able to do it. Now, you can tighten this, obviously, you can tighten that screw. It looks like it's already tight. You can tighten that screw before you put it on with these upper base pieces if you want. So I'm just going to tighten those. And these are really cool. Like I'm going to be going to PDX LAN again, the big LAN gaming event. So there we go. We got this. I'm going to bring it down so you guys can see how I attach it. I literally just attach it to the edge of the desks. Now, don't use these on glass desks. That's one recommendation that they have. On a glass desk, this can be very dangerous because they can break. Just it puts a weird pressure point on the desk. But if you've got a picnic table, maybe you're doing a quick temporary thing, this is a much sturdier way to mount your monitor. Now I'm going to take the second piece here that they mentioned. I'm going to slide that down and make sure it's in. Next piece, I'm just double checking that they don't have locks. Some of these will actually have locks. Now if you look at this from the front here and I push down, it's got a gas strut, so there's actually a lot of positive pressure here, and you're going to use this to tighten. So if the monitor is tilting and drooping down, you're going to see on the side here that it actually has a little indicator to go up or down. So if I want it tighter, I turn the screw tighter. If I want it looser so it droops more, I turn it less. So that's one adjustment. The next adjustment is actually right here, and it's on the elbow. And you adjust this. If you want it to be tighter, you actually loosen this nut. If you want it to be less, you tighten it. So it's a very weird backwards thing to what you would think. So there you go. Just be super careful again when you're doing this. I like the fact that this comes in two pieces because it allows me to do all the work on the monitor separately. That's what we're going to do now. Now, Scepter does include screws for VESA mounting. So if you've been smart and you've kept your screws, you can do it that way. I'm actually just going to very quickly, I'm going to lay this monitor down because I know that there's no obstructions here, but if I was planning ahead better, I would have brought some like soft blanket or something, but I'm going to do this pretty quickly. Now, Nerd on a Budget the other day, I sent him this. I said, you got to get this screwdriver from Amazon. This thing is so slick. It is one of my favorites right now because it has every single kind of bit you can get. It's ratcheting, so it goes both directions. It holds the bits super tight, and it's really easy to switch directions. And so love this. This was one of my Prime Day finds. And I sent it to him, and he's like, oh, no, I don't know about that. It doesn't look as expensive. But check this out. One-handed, I can just take all the screws out of the base here. So in the case of this one, now those screws I just happen to know also fit. There we go. Taking the screws out of the angle here. These screws on the Scepter monitors are reusable, and they will actually fit into the VESA mount over here. Let me show you what that looks like on the top down. So over here, I took the center piece out, and I've actually put just two of those screws. I'm trying to see if I have two more of that size. And I would normally, but I have a different mount on that. So we're going to go over to theirs and just see. Now theirs on the MA size, these look to be standard screws. I just want to see if the Scepter, if we're lucky enough that that's the standard size thread. Yeah. So whether you forgot or remembered your screws, they're going to work. So then the next thing we do is we take this plate here. Now there's two sizes on here. There's VESA 70 or VESA, whatever you want to call it. Tomato. There's VESA 75, which means these are 75 millimeters apart, or 7.5 centimeters. And there's 100, which is these ones out here. And even for your big flat screen televisions, they actually have these that go out several hundreds here. So I'm just testing these. If these screws are too long, they actually do include standoffs. Looks like they're pretty close to the right size for this monitor. I'm actually going to use one of these. Now, if I go back to my kit here, they do have some washers that you could use depending on the size, and there's also some spacers. So maybe you need to use the large spacers. A lot of times the IO on some of these monitors will actually be trapped behind here. So you may not have the right IO. So what you'll need to do is use a spacer with a longer screw or some combination of those. We're going to do it real quick here. And get that on remove. I'm going to use the ones that I know come with the monitor because those are a little bit better sized here, and I'll show you the difference. So those are the ones that came with the monitor. They're a little bit shorter thread, so they're going to stop easier. Let me know what you think right now. Are you using a gas strut monitor arm? I know Jonathan Talks Hardware is. Let's see if anybody else in here has switched over. It is a cool monitor upgrade. And if you look on the back of your monitor and you have those 4 screw holes usually, or there's an adapter plate for some of the monitors, that's another way to do it. Oh, Jonathan Talks Hardware says he got a Phantix electric screwdriver for his Prime Day deals. Did you catch any other Prime Day deals? Let me know here. So I'm just using the 2 screws that I had from this monitor just to make things a little bit tighter. And I also used the 2 other screws with some washers, and that worked good. So I'm putting this plate in. Make sure you put the plate to where that hole is at the top, because that little hole on the base here is going to allow us to tension this when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down. That's it. We're all done. That was that fast. Now we're going to go back over here to the side so you guys can see me. There we go. So I've got this connector here that's waiting for the monitor. I'm going to go ahead and put this monitor on now. And you, like I said, it's going to be really high, but we're going to be able to adjust that. Oh, you know what? I even skipped a step. Let's take this set screw out. There we go. So we're going to take this monitor and put it up here and on right now. And then I can take this safety screw. The safety screw doesn't hold any weight at all. It's just to keep the monitor from jumping off of here if you lift on it, because you may need to lift on it to adjust it. So looks like it's holding up pretty good. It is at the highest setting right now. I'll show you how high that is. Remember the stand on this thing was so small? Look how high this holds this monitor. This would be great for up there for your chats. So I could have a monitor up there. That's at the highest setting. Now, when you're sitting in an office chair, you may need it that low for like my kids when they're playing flight simulators or something. Maybe you want to have 2 monitors. So you put this guy on a gas strut. You can even tilt it at a downward angle like that. You see how that works? So you can tilt this at really any angle. Again, this is from Wanwo. This is their gas strut monitor arm. Now it has a little bit too much push. You see how it kind of moves itself up from that position? So what we're going to do is really quickly, we're going to adjust it at this elbow joint. So I talked to you guys about that earlier. So if I want to lessen the force that it has, I tighten this screw. Now I already just felt it drop a little bit. So now when I set it at every setting, you see how it just stays at those settings? That's exactly where we want it. So that's perfect. So that is the gas strut from Wanwo. I could set this wherever I want. Now, if you're going up against a wall, what I would recommend, you see that the point of installation is right here. And now this is completely flat. So if you're going up against a flat wall, sometimes people make the mistake and they put the mount in the center of their desk. You want to offset it slightly just because this arm has to come back a little bit. So you can either offset it quite a bit or not. And again, this is a 30-inch ultra wide, and you see how far away it is from the base. You could actually put another one right here and another 30-inch monitor if you had 2 of these. So that's how this one works. $27.19 right now. How do I find that, John? Well, it's pretty easy. We go over here. I'm going to show you guys. If you clicked that link, if you were lucky enough, you would see the NetGuys reviews on Amazon. You would see the smart home number 418. This is my idea list. And this is that monitor arm right now. Again, it's $31.99, but there's an additional 15% off. So it gives you a combined total of about 32% off is what my math on here says. So pretty good value on here right now. And heck, who knows, my video might still even be on there because I have some videos, but very highly rated on this one and very easy to use, easy to assemble, as you guys saw. I'm going to check the chat real quick, make sure we have no other questions about this one. T-Dolts is saying, I have one of these and it does the same thing. Okay, there we go. If you do need to replace your screws, there's a recommendation here from Green. If you can somehow find the size, you could get one from a hardware store. There we go. Very nice. So yeah, again, less than $30 and you can find something to make your monitor experience a lot nicer. Now I have to figure out how to set this thing down without scratching this beautiful monitor. I think what I'm going to do is use the quick release here. So I'm going to get it all the way to the top. I'm going to take this screw out. I'm actually having ideas now because this is so tall. I can use it over there kind of in my gaming setup So this is going to work out great. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to pull the monitor up and out, and I'm going to go down and set it over here where it's not going to get hurt for the rest of the show. And again, that was the C-clamp base mounting. There are two other options, or there's one other option for mounting here, which is if we wanted to take this and use this ready rod is what we call it, but use this threaded screw, and you could put this in and then run it through to the bottom, and you don't use the C-clamp piece, you just use this, and you can go right through desk. That's actually how my microphone arm is mounted back here, is using a grommet. Another thing I didn't show on this one yet, which is if you have cables, there's going to be this cable hiding feature, so you can add that here. It just slides in, and it looks like it slides down. So you get it in the right position, put it on here, and I've got to get the position right. There we go. This is tighter than it should be. There we go. And then that locks in. So that's going to hide your cords and make your cords follow your monitor so they don't fall out, which is kind of cool. So that's from Wanwo. That was our first product. Took a little while to show that to you guys, but again, I wanted you to see all that is involved there. My editor is going to do magic with that, and it'll be really quick to watch later. So I'm going to put this out of the way. We're going to go off to the next product, which is another cool product. Going to kind of clean up the program here. This is actually something I used at a wedding not too long ago. I'm just making sure I say hi to everybody on Amazon, and I'm going to pick the next product on the Amazon carousel. If you're watching on Amazon, this is kind of cool. There will actually be, I think it's over here. There's a carousel that goes up and down with all the products that I'm showing, so you can see them right away, which is pretty slick. And I'm going to go ahead and get this set up on the Amazon page over here before I bring it out, because it's such a cool product. So my mother-in-law, I actually have a good one, believe it or not, got married over the summer, and we went out to the wedding. I did a bunch of cooking. It was a blast. We had a good time. But one of the things she asked, she says, do you have a way for people to take pictures, and pictures for her, of this thing? So this is a selfie stick. It's one I picked up that was very highly rated on Amazon. I'm going to show you what it looks like here on the side, because you might get a little better view of it. The neat thing I like about this is, one, the handle is not dainty. I could go pull a bunch of the old broken metal selfie sticks that I have that have really dainty, just like, as you pull them out, this piece is not reinforced at all. You can see this has reinforced ribbing on both sides, so that's cool. Comes with your smartphone holder, so you can do that. Now, if you're a TikToker and you need to roll this sideways, you can do that too. So it's got a ball adjustment here, so you can put your phone in any orientation you want. You can slide it all the way out. You can tilt that end ball however you want. But what's neat about it too is it is also the last one you're ever going to need, because it works for creators. If you take the base, and this is kind of interesting, you open it up, it becomes a desktop tripod. So if I want to take, let's say, the show iPhone here, I've done this before with TikTok, and I want to do a stream, I can literally take the show iPhone, put it in here. I gotta get the camera app open so you guys can follow with me here. I'm going to tighten that in. So now I've got that thing held up. There's extra wires and stuff, only because I'm going to tighten this down a little bit. Only because I actually have it streaming for you guys right now. So we can go over to the show iPhone, and you guys can see me there. Here we are. And what other thing this has is a little Bluetooth remote. So maybe you're taking one of those family photos for, the summertime. We've got a bunch of family members. You don't want to leave that one person out. Well, you take this, and you literally hit that remote. It's got a little Bluetooth. There's a little on off. Every time you hit it, you can see down here in the corner, I'm taking a new photo every time. So then if I go back to my Photos app here, you can actually see I can review the photos that I took in the Photos app. And that's all done with this Bluetooth remote. Now, the Bluetooth remote is magnetic. What I love about it is it fits right here in the handle. So if you want to use this thing in selfie mode, and it's really hard to do that and show it to you at the same time, I'll unplug it for a second here so I can show you how that works. So maybe you're a solo creator, maybe you're recording some content for TikTok. I call it TikTok just to mess with people. Or maybe this is at a wedding. This was really cool. You can actually take this item, go out, and just use the picture right there. Hey, you can see all my cameras now. and the computer there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that photo. Another interesting thing is this thing gets to be almost 6 feet tall. So again, I was showing you the adjustability here of this end. One of the things I've been doing lately is I've been recording a lot of my B-roll with a GoPro here. So you can see my GoPro. This is a little GoPro 7 Black. If I take the smartphone adapter off and I just slide on the GoPro, now check this out. I'm 6 foot. This floor is right here. I'm going to slide this thing all the way out. Now I have it literally all the way out here. I can set that up, level it off, and I can do a talking head video, and there it's almost at eye level for me. Maybe it's about 5'5". I just make sure I have all the segments out. So this thing has an incredible amount of adjustability. So that's a really cool feature. So if you're looking for a selfie stick to rule them all, this may be the one right here. So you can, again, adjust it at any height. I've done a lot of product unboxings out back. I grabbed my GoPro, grabbed this selfie stick. This selfie stick right now is under 20 bucks. So under 20 bucks, has a Bluetooth trigger so you can start and stop your video or photos. I'm going to go ahead and plug this back in, and you can see the picture that it was able to capture of the studio here. So there you go. So that was my picture of the studio that I was able to capture with the selfie stick. You can see all the different lighting that I have to do to get the lights just right. Yeah, there's a lot going on here that you don't see behind the scenes. So I'm going to go back here and just check real quick on the chat, make sure there's no questions. Oh, I can start recording from my Apple Watch. So Jonathan's checking in. He's saying that he can actually kick it off on his watch. My smartwatch will do that too. For people that don't have this Bluetooth capability, that might be something interesting to use your phone. The rest of the mechanism still works, which is really cool. So that's another really cool. That's Green's checking in. Says the graveyard of old selfie sticks and the radio TV antenna. Yeah, like the old selfie sticks are all beat up. I tell you, it's kind of fun, especially if you have large groups right now. I know a lot of people have cool, fun summer activities. Have a selfie stick, kind of a throwback here. Let's go take a quick look on Amazon and see more about this one. As you can see, it is basically the #1 bestseller in selfie sticks right now. 29,000 ratings and 4.3 stars. You know, again, it does get to 62 inches, so just under, is that 5'2", I guess. So just under 6 feet here, a little over 5 feet. You can put anything on top of it that you want. I don't know if I'd do a full DSLR, but it can actually do vertical video as well as photos and horizontal. And this is that detachable. It says it has the 30 foot range, 10 meter range. So that's pretty slick. So that was the second product that we have on here, but we're not going to stop with the whole camera motif. I'm going to show you another cool product that we've got here. And this is actually a hidden camera. So I'm going to have to figure out how to show you guys this. I did an unboxing already, so I'm going to save you guys the trouble on that. Let me bring the top down. This is from the folks over at Alpha Tech. Now, Alpha Tech makes all sorts of really cool products. They made a camera inside a clock, which is super hidden, which was really slick. This one is actually an iPhone charger, and it's for your USB-C style, so they've upgraded it. You won't be able to see it. I'm trying to clean this off so there's just no streaks on it from there, but you won't see it, but there's actually a camera lens in this one. So we're going to take a quick look at that. I'm just going to have to pull my power connector here because it's going to require power to do that demo. Ignore the crashing and banging. So I was able to solve the problem that I had with it. I was trying to add it and it didn't add in my app correctly before, but it did finally work. And it was actually user error. All I needed to do was connect it on its Wi-Fi, but I kept getting kicked back to mine. So I'm going to go ahead and open my iPhone here. And then I'm going to go ahead and see if I have the app that we wanted on this one. And make sure I have the product in here. There's several different products. I'm going to open their app first, and we're going to take a look and see because I want to make sure that it is available for us. There we go. There's that one. Now I want to make sure, because I did this already. I think I did it with my phone. Give me 1 second here. This is all the fun stuff that my editor cuts out. Let me know in the chat, would you use a hidden camera in there? What use case might you have here? And don't be giving me anything that's going to get me in trouble. I need to make sure I've got the actual app location for it. So there we go. I need to pull the correct app up. There's multiple apps that I use on these show phones, and so it is kind of entertaining here. Oh, Tina Myers checking in. She's got a really good use case, the nanny cam. Absolutely. Yep. That's one that comes to mind. I did have somebody reach out to me the other day, and they mentioned, give me 1 second here. Let's see, that's a warranty one. We want the quick setup. There it is. There's two different versions of this, and I was opening the wrong one. So this one uses the Tuya Smart app, and I'm just logging into it right now. Hopefully the picture is here. Now it does record locally, which is another really interesting thing about it. It's getting connected. You know what? This is my challenge because I'm not on Wi-Fi. I have this thing offline. I need to put this on Wi-Fi. There we go. Just so that it can get on and actually start to work. There we go. Got it. Oh, see, you know what? I might have to use my other one here. I have two iPhones here, and I know I had this set up working on the other one. And if this doesn't work, we're going to have to bump this to the next one. I hate to do that. It's not going to do it. Dang it. Alpha Tech again. It's got me. I've tried to demo this thing twice, and I did not have it set up right before the show. I apologize, you guys. I'm going to do the demo of it. It is really cool when it's working. And it's one of those things that you could, if you want, again, to put this very small iPhone charger. It actually works as a charger. Maybe it goes in your kitchen. Maybe it goes in your room. And if you got a relative maybe stealing your stuff, or, one of my daughters was worried about her candy with the other daughter. This would be kind of funny here. But again, use this only in legal scenarios. It does not have audio recording. I do need to point that out. This doesn't have audio recording, and that's a requirement for Amazon now. They do not allow any of these cameras just because of all the different state laws. So AlphaTech complies with that, and this version does not have any audio, but it does have video. So we're going to bring that up next week. Sorry about that, guys. I'll make sure I'm ready on this one. I thought I had the app all ready and loaded, but it bumped me out. We are going to go again with the theme of cameras, and we're going to go on to another product which we showed before. And I did test this one a little bit earlier. And this one is the Roku camera. Now, this one looks a lot like, you guys are going, man, I think I've seen something that looks just like that. This is actually the Wyze version. So what does that look like? How different are they? Well, one of them's got Roku stamped on it and one does not. They're technologically exactly the same. The difference is you're spending a little bit of a different amount. So there's different price point for each one. Now I'm going to go here real quick into my creator app, and I'm going to mark the new product that we're showing here, just so everybody that's following along at home can see that. So this is one that I did unbox for you. I was able to get it to work. There's a couple different things about it. The cost for the Roku home service plan, if you want the plan to actually watch the cameras remotely, is $3.99, and that's going to give you the AI, person detection, package detection, things like that. If you want purely a cost play, this is actually one of the cheapest waterproof IP cameras right now. So this thing is completely waterproof, can be used outside with this connector. Now, the power for it is not waterproof. So if you are going to hook it up somewhere outside, make sure that the power to it is somewhere safe. Give me 1 second so I can plug the bench power in here so we can demo this for you. We got two products coming up that are going to be related to this. So I'm plugging into the power here on the console. The little light's going to come on. It is almost identical to the Wyze, except you're going to use the Smart Home app from Roku. And that's where we got stuck last time on this one, is the Smart Home app from Roku wanted me to authenticate, and they were super slow about logging in. So let's see here. I am logged in now. I'm going to show you what the app looks like. So there's the Smart Home app. Looks very similar again to the Wyze app. I can tap on the camera. It is trying to connect to it now. The camera's showing blue. Let's see if it has fully connected to Wi-Fi yet. Oh, you know what? This, I'm gonna have to come right back here. This show iPhone is not connecting to the Wi-Fi the way I wanted it to. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put it on the faster Wi-Fi. There we go. Hopefully nobody can read my fingers and know my Wi-Fi code yet. And if you did, don't share it. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. I want to make sure that I'm connected to the camera. So it does see the camera. I'm going to bring this up for you guys. We'll take a quick quality check, but you know what? It's going to be a 1080p camera. It's just connecting right now. It's on the 2.4 gigahertz band, so it doesn't use 5 gigahertz. It only uses 2.4. This is one of the drawbacks to this, is it doesn't use the 5 gigahertz like the Pro cameras and the other ones. But honestly, the bandwidth requirements of this are so low, you're not going to really need it. Now, it does have a pretty good picture. You can read Wanwo off there. You can read Craftsman on the products that are coming up next. This was a little bit earlier photo, and now you can see it's caught up for me. So again, I think it's connected to a different AP right now. So it's a little bit, the frame rate's going to be a little bit slow. But it does have local recording capability. So let's take a look at why you might want this one over the Wyze. And it's a very particular why. Now, if you're not going to do the person detection, package detection with Wyze, which is, I think, $1 cheaper a month, you can go with their $3.99 or their $39 a year and have it all covered. I'm going to show you how you can bypass that cost entirely with a micro SD card and store all of your videos locally in the camera here with our next product coming up. But very quickly, I'm going to jump over to the Amazon page so we can take a quick look at this. So if we come over here, the Roku camera right now is $21.20. It's normally $34. So that's actually cheaper than the WiseCam V3. There's a really good deal on the WiseCam Pan V3 right now, which is also a outdoor waterproof here. They're saying indoor camera for home security, but you know what? It actually has the same waterproof plug, which tells me that they might just be underselling this capability on this one. But there you go. You can see it has 54 ratings. It's 4.1 stars. This is that home smart home subscription that they have. So right now, without the subscription, you get still images. There's going to be a delay between notifications. They call it a cooldown, delay between events of 5 minutes. So if you really just need something that's super, super low budget, and you're going to store all your own videos with your own micro SD card, this is $21, and it is technically outdoor rated, even though it doesn't show it on here. So that is that product. Let's talk about stuff to maybe enhance this product. This is a sponsored product that was actually sent out to me for a Theranos review. We're going to open it up here for the very first time, and it is a 128 gigabyte micro SD card. So micro SD cards, I have a sleeve of them as a content creator. I've got cameras all over the place that use them. I've got little IP cameras. I've got a wall of cameras up here that most of them have a micro SD slot. So this micro SD card right here is from Speedstron. Let's look at that. Speedstun here. And there's the adapter that it has and the 128 gig. Now, it's going to be hard to see, but really, really close up. There's different ratings on this. 128 gig. It is a V30 A1 U3. So what do all those mean? They are minimum standards for read and write speed on cards. And the reason that they had to come up with that is with your 1080p cameras, the write speeds weren't very big. When you started to get into like 4K or 2.5K, then you got into, high refresh rates, 240 hertz, 1080p. You started to have a buffering issue with the cards. These cards were never really designed to run continuously. Additionally, this is going to work on your Nintendos. It's going to work on your iPad, or iPad doesn't do it. Sorry. It's going to work on your Android tablets that take a micro SD. So you can add a ton of videos and other things onto this. But we're going to try it out in the Roku, and we're going to see if that improves the experience with the Roku and if it's going to work and be compatible. So that was our test today. So I'm going to take the set of scissors. We're going to open up this brand new fresh card that they've sent out. It is available right now for just $14.98. You're getting 128 gigabytes for $14.98, which is pretty unheard of these days. So we're going to take this guy out. It does come, and a lot of them do, with this micro SD to SD card adapter. You'll hear a lot of these also be called TF cards, trans flash. So this thing is literally the size of a fingernail. And you can see that stores 128 gigs. That's more storage than I think 100 times what my first computer had, maybe more. So that was pretty cool. So that little device here, if we want to use it in the Roku, the way we do that, or many other cameras, we're going to take off this waterproof cover that's on the bottom, and then we're going to slide this card in the slot here. Now it's only going to fit one way. I got it lucky the first time, so the label was facing downward. And I go ahead and put that in. Now I go into the Roku app. Now this works for many other things. It just beeped at me to let me know that it got it. This works in many other devices, but I'm going to go ahead and go into my camera app now. This is that smart. I'm going to go to advanced, and then you can see it says manage micro SD, continuous recording. So if I go to manage micro SD, it's saying no card found. This may actually be the curse of the Roku. I'm going to say there's that SD card required. And let's do a reboot on this one. Oh, there it goes. So now it sees it. Okay, so it sees 116 gigs free. So now why, John, does it not show 128 gigs? I paid for 128 gigs. Well, it's math. It's based on 1024 instead of 1000. Just a binary thing so that they can sell you cards at different speeds. So what this means is I can format this card, and then I can tell it to record continuously to that card. And then when I go look at my events, I can actually play back the full videos. So for $15, you can add unlimited recording essentially to this. They're not going to charge you. And in 128 gigs, I think you're using about 16 gigs a day. So this should get you at least a week of recording time, if not more, if you're doing that. And if you do just motion recording, it's going to get you even more. So that's what the micro SDs do. Let's take a quick performance look at it. I did bring my MacBook out here. I did not plan to do this, but what I want to do is I use a program called Blackmagic disk speed test. And I'm going to go ahead and close out a few things. I'm going to go ahead and bring the site up here for you. Give me 1 second. And we're going to do the Blackmagic disk speed test here on my MacBook Pro, and we're going to go directly to that card. Now, what this does is it shows how many megabytes read and write per second this is going to do. Now, being a U3A1 V30 card, it's going to have a certain speed that it has to maintain. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. I'm going to put it in this adapter. I'm going to place the adapter in here. So you guys can see, there's my computer, allow it to connect to that. Unreadable, we're going to initialize it. So I got to go into my disk utility here. So whatever file format it came with is not readable or mountable, it's saying by this one. Let's take a quick look and see if that will do. I got to wait for disk utility. My goodness, this is not my day. There we go. That's the one here. So it's an ext fat. I can erase it, and I can put Mac OS on it, or I can put an ext fat on it. And we're going to do test, erase. Okay. So it is done. This is our test disk is now available. I'm going to go ahead and select the target drive on here, and I'm going to go down to test. This is an empty drive. Again, I haven't used it yet. I'm going to go ahead and plug in this so you guys can actually see it better. I'm going to plug my Mac. Thank goodness they added an HDMI port, huh? On these Macs. There we go. So I'm going to do that so that you guys can see it. I think this is the bench monitor. There you go. Put myself back in, and we're going to see it live. This is the first time I've ever done a speed test on it. So here we go. We're getting 75 megabytes per second write speed. Now this is going to repeat this test over and over, and you can see how it's working its way around the wheel there. That's that red. We're going to see how the continuous write speed. So it's dropping a little bit. We're getting the 60s. So 60 megabytes per second is actually pretty good for a single camera. And that's maintaining that. The read speeds are going to be interesting. And this is going directly through the interface on my Mac. So there's no adapters or anything in the way. Looks like it's holding roughly 60 here. And we've got a read speed. Looks like it's holding 90. So what it's doing is it's writing a temporary file, and then it's reading that temporary file back. Now, what resolutions is that going to be good for? So what we're seeing here for Blackmagic RAW, you can get all the way up to 1080p 60. ProRes, you're going to be up there, like I shoot with my GH5, I shoot in 4K. Well, that's actually being written in H.264. So I could shoot 4K 60 with this card with that rate. Now it's at 55 here, and we could leave this test running for a very long time and make sure that the whole card is that way. But I wanted to give you a quick look at this. Jonathan Talks Hardware is checking in. He says, can I buy a 512 or 1 terabyte micro card with my Wisecam? Yes, you can. I think they're stuck at 256 though. So that's one thing. Jonathan's checking in. Says, a hidden camera? Maybe if it's Wi-Fi enabled, I would use it as a backup in case someone tried to disable my main system. Hey, that's a great idea, especially if you've got the Wi-Fi. BC is checking in. Says that I'm 3D printing to use a hidden camera for my living room for monitoring reasons. There you go. I love it. I love it. So there we go. So this thing is writing. It's got 55 megabytes. It's holding about 90. So a 55 megabyte write speed, definitely respectable there. And a 90 megabyte read speed, which is also very important. So pretty decent card for literally under $15. So we're going to take a quick look at the Amazon page for that device here. So if we come over here, this is the Speedstun, and I'll do a little bit more testing on this. I actually have a shootout with a bunch of different brand name SD cards coming. So when they said, hey, we've got this one to take a look at, I was like, absolutely, let's take a look at it. So here you go. There's a 128 version. If you go to 256, that's available for $25. And if you go to 512 gigs, it's $42. So you're saving a little bit at every step up there. 128 here is kind of your middle of the range. So this is actually really good if you're looking for something that will fit in most IP cameras like we saw. So that's a pretty good setup. They're offering it for a Switch, personal computer, tablet, or smartphone. Yeah, the sad part is I've been on iPhone for so long, I've never had expandable storage, but it looks like this would work in iPhone as well. Okie dokie. So that was the memory card for the Roku. I'm going to put this stuff away. We're going to get out another cool product, which I'm excited to show you. This one is, I can't use the term. You'll see why here in a second. It is for your personal safety devices. You'll see in a second here, and I'll pull this up on Amazon, and we'll go from there. And I'll tell you why I'm being evasive about this one, because I don't want to get canceled. Not again. I've actually had some issues in the past with these type of products. This is one of the best. So this is a Smart Strongbox. Let me pick this thing up because it's not light. And I'm not going to butcher the company's name, but I'm just going to tell you, this is a very unique and interesting product. It is very heavy, which when you're looking at safes and personal storage devices, this is where you want to have the weight spent. There's a QR code to download the Smart Life app because this personal protection device holder, safe, money holder, medicine cabinet, whatever you want to use it for, has Wi-Fi, so you can access it remotely via wireless. It has Touch ID. You can click to open it remotely. So it's going to have fingerprint biometrics. It's going to have app control to open it. It's going to have records of what's going on with it. It has a temporary password system, which is brilliant. It has an offline passwording too. So if your internet goes down, somebody needs to open this that you want to give a password. It has a rolling code technology. So that's the remote dynamic. It does have temporary passwords where you can say, my kids can only have it from this hour to this hour, or this day to this day, have access to it. Multiple users and logging. So if this is going to be used maybe as a cash drop in a business, I could see this working really well. I'm going to try to do a little bit different unbox for you. I'm going to do an unbox from the side here. So it's going to have two different things. One, this attention label. You don't want to skip that one. It's going to tell you the default code, which is actually 6 times. So that's pretty straightforward. So that's one. It's going to have this little box, which has a couple accessories I don't normally see with the personal protection devices. It's going to have the key. So this key here is to be able to open it. Obviously, it's a round, bike lock style. It's going to have a USB charging cable here, so you can actually plug it in. If the internal battery dies, you can plug it in and get it to it that way. It's going to have this additional security cable. Now, you can cut through these with a really strong pair of pliers. I've seen that happen and I've had to do it in the past. But this allows you to lock it to a vehicle, a table leg, anywhere, a metal pipe. If you just want to quickly lock this down somewhere, maybe you're in a hotel or something, you can loop it through and connect the device. So loop it to whatever you've got that's got an enclosure and connect it that way. So that's this cable. Then it's going to have the information here and a very tiny screwdriver to access the battery, which is cool. Now, Lockpicking Lawyer would probably destroy this thing because it's not designed. Again, all locks are really designed to keep the honest people out. This is designed for accessibility and deniability. You want to be able to protect the items that you have. But again, people, if they're really, really interested, they could break or destroy this. But in most cases, for a non-destructive storage, this was going to work out great. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. Comes with very good packaging. I haven't taken the outer protective packaging off, but it actually has a handle on top. I think they're designing it so that if you were to use this in a business, maybe this is your cash drop box. It is completely battery powered. I love the futuristic design. It's got this kind of white and, faux leather and black look. So I'll show you what that looks like through the front here. So you can see this is the front of it. Now I'm going to use my biometrics that I programmed earlier. I'm just going to put my thumb on it. And I'm going to see. I'm going to set it down. Was it that thumb? Oh, it doesn't like that thumb. There it goes. I just had to get my thumb at the right angle. So it's going to have an opening almost like a cash drawer. So I'm going to do that one more time. Works great. Let's go to the top down here. So what's inside of it when we open it up? Well, it's going to have a elastic strap, and this is to hold your personal protection devices down, if you know what I mean. So this will keep those personal protection devices safely anchored here if this is your device. Let's take a quick tour around the outside. A lot of your safes and strong boxes don't have more than about 4 numbers, which makes them ultimately guessable. This thing has a full 9 and a 0. So it goes all the way to 10 numbers with a star and a pound. So the pound is used as your unlock. Now, I've put a code in here so I can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 unlock, and I can use the code to unlock it. Now, there's actually still the original code. 3, 4, 5, 6 unlock. So it has that original code, but you can add as many codes or remove codes as you see fit. It has a really good manual on how to do it just through the buttons if that's your thing and you don't want to do the smarts of it. If you do want to use the smart capabilities of it, now let me double check and see if it's already connected to my Wi-Fi here. I might have to use my smart app. Let me see if Smart Life is up. I'm bringing this up, and actually I have to switch my accounts. Give me 1 second here to switch to the other account that I use with Smart Life. This is always the problem when you have multiple test accounts. So I'm going to log into the Smart Life app here real quick. I'm going to see if I can actually use the Gmail version of it. Okay. 1 second. I have to connect to my app over here, sign in with a pass key off of this one, signing in. There we go. My pass key says it's good. It already has access to my account. So I use the biometric login for this. So technically my account's also secured by biometrics. We're going to bring up the phone here. So you can see it's called Insurable Box. In this case, I'm going to tap it. Now, the thing that weirded me out the first time, you notice it's green. It tells you some information. It's got remote dynamic password listed here. And it's got a few buttons across the bottom. I'm actually going to turn off my little scroller so you guys can see those buttons. But yeah, you can see that there's some buttons for users, alarm. Now, if I go to alarm, you can see that the fingerprint I tried just a bit ago didn't work the first time. So it's telling you about that. Now, what's interesting about this is when it wakes up, it sends its information via Wi-Fi, but normally you don't need that. So to get it to open remotely, you do have to wake the unit up by touching one of the buttons or, getting the thing to awaken. Now I can click the open remotely, hit OK, and now this thing will pop open for me. Knock on wood, confirm. It was working great earlier. I did pair it to my Wi-Fi upstairs, and I wonder if the Wi-Fi down here is not as good. But yeah, you've seen several different ways to open it. I'm going to show you another one that's really interesting. This I can show you my passcode because it's a dynamic passcode that's only good for 5 minutes. So imagine somebody's staying at your house, or you gave this to somebody and you said, hey, call me for a passcode. You don't have to reveal your passcode to your safe. If you hit this button, you get a rolling code technology. Doesn't require internet access. So it's kind of like a time limited token. 76209534 unlock. There it goes. So that the unit just unlocked. So you can see that I'm able to open it and access it. And that was using that rolling code here. Now in 5 minutes or under 5 minutes, that code will be invalidated and you'll get another one. So very unique way to give a one-time use code to access something that can't be replayed. So if you want to do it that way, again, multiple different ways to connect this thing. It does have a connection here. So if I take this is that one that I was telling you about. You put it around an iron pipe or something. You can actually go to the back. It has like a Kensington lock style on the back here. So I can come up to that one. I can push this button in and I can lock it. Now, technically, your person can yank on this all they want and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's the security there. It also does have a key for security. It does come with batteries, so you're not missing out. If you order it, you'll have everything you need. And I can just turn it that way and I can open the side here. The one thing I would have liked to see that I haven't found in the manual and I haven't seen in anything yet is if you look at the bottom, it has these pads, but I don't see a way to hard mount it through the inside. And that would be kind of hard again with the design, the way that it's set up here. Very sleek design. I haven't even taken the covers off of it, as you can see here. And I can open it. So it's spring loaded here. So when it gets the correct biometric or anything, it will spring eject, and it is removable. You can remove this whole tray if you need to, but there's no way that I saw to actually anchor it, which is the only drawback I can see of this unit. But otherwise, it's been a very interesting unit. And it has a lot of great features going for it. So again, that's available right now on Amazon. This one is on sale right now. So normally it's $119, which for a biometric rolling code, Wi-Fi enabled, app controlled safe is pretty amazing. It's actually on sale right now for an additional 20% off. It's $95.99 right now. So under $100, and you can protect your personal protection devices. You can protect your money. With our kids now, we're on a couple medications that my wife and I wouldn't want our kids to get into, and they're right at that age. So you could throw some medicines in here and have quick and easy access to it, which is great. Let's take a look on Amazon. I want to see if they have current reviews of this product, because again, it is very new, and that's one of the neat things. This was sent out for a fair and honest review. Only got 3 ratings right now, but those ratings are good at 4.6. I can't wait to start using this thing more. This is the comparison of what they're talking about and why to choose this company over their competitors. And you can see there is 4 different ways plus an additional 2 to unlock it, whether it's biometrics, codes, a backup key in the back, and so on. You can have 50 fingerprints stored within it. You have an actual full button keypad. It's not just 1 through 4. It does have voice control and voice when you're setting it up. It'll tell you what buttons to press and what you're doing. It does have an emergency backup charging. It has a handle, a safety cable, and a backlit keyboard. So these are all things that are included with it that you may not get with some of the other ones that are out there on the market. So wanted to thank those guys for sending this out for a fair and honest review. I can't wait to put this thing to use, and I will report back on how well it does in a future show. So very excited for that. We're going to take a look. We got a couple more products to go. There is actually one that I'm kind of excited about because my wife can use it. I can use this one. I'm going to bring it up here on the Amazon Creator app so we have it. And that is another one of the Craftsman V20 line. You guys are going to get tired of these Craftsman V20s, but it's kind of neat because once you get bought into an ecosystem like the Craftsman V20, this one just happens to be their tire inflator. It's one of the few things I hadn't purchased yet, but we always seem to be needing around the house. I've got multiple air compressors, but you got to hook them up. And good luck trying to teach my wife how to plug the air compressor in, go find the hose reel, go find the end, and something to measure and meter it with. This is from Craftsman. This is their battery powered cordless high pressure inflator. So if you look here, high pressure inflator, it's a tool only kit. It has a 3-year warranty, which is awesome. From Craftsman, it's a 22-inch hose length. A lot of the ones that I've shown you, even the battery powered ones that have a single use, they don't have a very long hose. And so you're always kind of, budget a hose that's maybe only 6 or 8 inches, 150 max PSI here. So that's good. We will have to pick up a battery separately, but in my case, I have like 5 or 6 of different size batteries, so it's not a big deal. They do have those batteries available on Amazon as well. Let's take a look inside this thing. We'll do a quick unbox of it. There we go. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to have the tool, some instructions, and the box, and that's it. Now, I just happen to have grabbed one of my other batteries, so I'll be ready to go. This will work with any size of the Craftsman batteries, down to the 1.3 amps all the way up to the 4 and 9 amp versions. It is a kind of a pistol grip, kind of an inverted here. It looks very much like the Ryobi's. Very long cord, as you can see here, to get any size of your tire. Lots of warning labels because we're inflating tires. Couple things about the interface on it that I wasn't super excited about. I don't see an adjustment like a preset. So I can't say, oh, just set it to 15 or set it to bike or whatever. So that's one drawback. Again, Craftsman did not send this one out to me for a fair and honest review, so I can give you exactly what I think about it. So we're going to do that. I'm going to hit the button to turn it on, and it says, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but it says 0 PSI. I might have to go over here. This screen is actually really readable for me, but sometimes, there you go. So got a little LCD display. It's not LED. It's a little LCD display. I'm going to hit the button. There's another, maybe a drawback, depending on how you look at it. You have to hold the button down, and there's no button to hold it down for you. So you're going to have to hold that button down the whole time. Definitely puts out some air. Now, this is designed for high pressure, not high volume. So I wouldn't be inflating like pool toys with this. Now, they've got a kind of an ingenious way to hold the bits for different things. If you're going to do a regular tire, that's available right at the top here. So it's got the standard one. If you push these sideways, this is how you get them out. It's going to have, for your basketballs, your footballs, it's going to have the very small pin here that you can connect. It's going to have a Schrader valve adapter here, so you can do those for your competition bikes and your other cool things. To slide that back in, I just know I'm going to lose this. I wish they kind of come up with a better way to do that. You can slide the other one. This is just a generic filler. So if you're trying to fill something, maybe it's a pool toy or something, set of floaties for the kids, you can do it that way. Not super excited the way that they attach this. It's an interesting idea, but I have a feeling that these are going to be gone not too long. So let's go ahead and try this thing out. I actually went out there in a project that we did over the weekend. This is a front wheel to a Chariot scooter that we have with our kids, a jogging stroller. So I'm going to go ahead and take the regular valve. I'm going to add this on. Now, to find out what pressure, you can look at nearly any device, and it's going to have it on the side of the tires in most cases, especially cars. Those are required by DOT. So this one actually says 40 PSI on the outside, and that might be a cold pressure. You can look, it'll say 40 PSI cold or 50 PSI cold. So I know I'm going to take this thing to 40. So I can use the back of it, and I'll go ahead and turn it on, and I'll start to inflate. So that fast, it got it to 40. So this definitely inflates quickly, much quicker than the little tiny portable ones in most cases. And I actually had the valve stem cap here to go ahead and attach to this. So now this is inflated back to its optimum pressure. Now it did tell me how much pressure. I did purposefully let all the air out of this thing earlier before the show so we could fill it up live. So it had 0 PSI, but if I wanted to use this as kind of a meter, I can take this, attach it back on, and just look at the back, and it'll show me how much pressure it is. If you're doing any sort of towing, maybe water sports, you're taking a boat somewhere this summer, if you're going on a road trip with the family, get the tires filled up. This thing will pay for itself over a few times where you have to swipe your credit card or throw a bunch of quarters in those machines that never quite work right. So I could definitely see the utility of it. I would have liked to have presets. Even if I could just set this thing to 40, hit a button and forget about it and have it fill, that would be great, especially if it's going to take a while on a larger tire. This does have higher pressure than most of the ones that I've demoed for you guys. So a lot of the ones I've demoed for you will go up to 100 PSI. My parents had an RV and they came over to get filled up one time, and I couldn't get to like the 120 PSI that those semi tires needed with the inflators that I had. They just wouldn't do it. This one goes up to 150. So you got plenty of inflating pressure available here. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat and see if I missed anything from anybody. Looks good. Well, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. Had a great time showing you a lot of the neat products here. If you can, do me a favor, take a look at my Amazon show page. And if you haven't yet, hit that follow button. I'm over 1,000 followers already. I never thought that would happen. I got to get to 2,000 if I'm going to make it to the Amazon A list, which would be cool because then they do a lot of neat stuff for me. So this has been John the Net Guy. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and I will catch you guys